What's going on, everybody? It's HBCU Game Day, and you are watching Verified Sources with SJG. All right, guys, so a different location this week. I am not at home, as you can see. I'm actually on the campus of North Carolina A&T State University, the largest HBCU in America. They never let you forget that. And we just had a press conference. North Carolina A&T head football coach Shawn Gibbs addressed the media as well as the supporters who are here at North Carolina A&T to hear about come every week for the football luncheon. It's a time where they can interact with the fans and get insight on what's going on with the program. Pretty cool concept. Today was a tough one, though. They're coming off a huge loss to UCF, of course, which is an FBS program, which means they have more money and more resources. And so it was a tough game. I think they got 68 put on them. Tough game for them. And not only that, but they lost 3 quarterbacks. And one of the guys ended up playing with a collarbone injury for a big part of the game. So I'll let Coach Gibbs tell you about it, and you can just hear the reaction as people are listening.
Well, they're beat up. They had 2 guys dislocate an elbow, Braxton and Champ. And Jair, our freshman quarterback, broke his collarbone. So he's done for the season. The other 2, they're not. They'll be back. So we were beat up, but we got to play a game on Saturday. We signed Nelson Lane in the signing class, and we think he can get the job done. But it's not on him; it's on the entire team. We got to rally around him and make sure that we protect him and make sure we play complementary football. So we'll be okay. It's next man up mentality. If you say that, you preach it, then when that situation comes up, you got to live in it.
Is there any idea of what sort of timeline the 2 quarterbacks will be on in their return to get back?
They're having MRIs, so we'll know a little bit more later on in the week. But it shouldn't be season ending.
Is Noah Sanders still available?
Yes, Noah's still available.
How do you, just mentally, how is the team dealing with that, and how do you keep them going? I mean, obviously you say next man up mentality, but to see so many guys go down, how is the state of the team?
But we're good. We let y'all worry about that. We got to go play football. And so we know that whoever the quarterback is, we're going to rally behind them. Of course, we hate to see our teammates go down to any type of injury. So we hate that part of it. But as a team, it's not hard to keep these guys going. They want to win. And we're going to go out and fight no matter who our quarterback is. I might have to go play quarterback a couple snaps. No matter.
All right now.
Realistically, do you have to change your offensive scheme now based on, if you have to change your offensive scheme based on the personnel?
Absolutely not. I don't know if many people know a lot about Nelson Lane, but he's got a verified 4.3 40. So kid can run. Obviously he can throw, or he wouldn't be here. Noah's a Division I transfer. Well, from Delaware, he's a transfer. So these guys are capable. We're not changing anything. We're going to do what we do. Of course, we're going to figure out what they do the best and cater it around them. But changing the whole nature of the offense, no, we're not going to do that.
What do you feel like you learned about the team this weekend, and how do you kind of hope to expand on that this upcoming week?
Well, I learned that I have to do a great job of understanding that as of right now, we're not familiar with what it takes to win. So I have to do a good job of getting us prepared for every situation. I can't neglect anything. So if it's going to be, we're going into a situation like a Saturday where we're going to have to deal with some crowd noise that we haven't dealt with before. As the head coach, I got to make sure that we're prepared for that. And then secondly, I know that these guys are going to go out and fight. That's what I've learned about them. They're going to fight. They're not going to quit. And that's a good sign. So we just got to stop killing ourselves, stop turning the ball over. We got to get back to doing things the way we're used to doing them. And, so this week our focus is on getting back to the basics and focusing on being better fundamentally, because a lot of our problems are fundamental issues. So this game is about blocking and tackling. So we got to make sure we know how to block and tackle. And if we can do those two things, we think we'll be fine going forward. Now, we will not play another team close to the level of talent that them guys had. I mean, they had a track team out there and some big old boys up front. So, you know, our guys did have some success against them. So that should give us some confidence going forward.
Yeah, and you had a true freshman stepping in at quarterback. What was kind of your impression of his performance?
I was so impressed. I told somebody on the sideline, I said, just look at him, because I looked out on the field. It was no fear in his eyes at all. I mean, none. He was just calm, and he was composed. And, you know, unfortunately, that's just the way things happen. He got out there and was really, you know, hopefully he'll learn a lesson going forward. It was a sprint out. He should have got rid of the ball. And he held on to it, got sacked, guy landed on top of him. And, you know, the ground causes most of our injuries. And just in football in general, the ground causes the injuries. Drove him into the ground, landed on top of him, broke his collarbone. But he played like 40 snaps with a broken collarbone.
And
so we got some tough kids. We got some kids that have some composure. And he's going to be a really good player in the future.
Was that just adrenaline, you think? Like, when did he realize that?
Oh, no, he knew it. He knew it. I saw it when it happened. The next play, he threw the ball, and I could see him wince. And he didn't say anything and came off to the side, and I told Dr. Fletcher to go look at him. And then, you know, we knew it was serious.
All right, so that is North Carolina A&T head coach Shawn Gibbs coming off a tough loss to UCF over the weekend. They're just trying to survive until the next day. They've got a chance to take on another CAA opponent, which happens to be another HBCU as well. Of course, that means they'll be taking on Hampton University in their home opener under the lights. Got a chance to ask Coach Gibbs about that matchup. We know what happened here last year. They don't really want to talk about it. But no, Coach Gibbs has not shied away from it, so had a chance to ask him about that and about just being able to play in the atmosphere at Aggie Truist Stadium. It's Truist now. So hear from him.
Yeah, you know, we played them in, this will be the third different conference that I played against Hampton in at A&T. We played them when we were in the MEAC. And I was telling the CAA, at the CAA conference this morning, I remember Chris Garden had a 200-yard punt return day on them up there at Hampton. And then in the Big South, we played them up there. And now we're getting to play them in the CAA. So I think it's a good rivalry. I think it's kind of new. I don't know if it's, you know, your traditional rivalry like South Carolina State, Central, and Winston-Salem State, but it's definitely building into that. And I think it's something good because you got two schools that are similar, have a similar profile, high academic schools, great cultures, some tradition-rich football programs. So I look forward to it, and you know, especially this game because they embarrassed us last year at homecoming. Yeah. And put 59 on us. So you know, we look forward to playing them. Not only do we get some payback for what they did to us last year, it's our first home game, it's a night game, and it's our first CAA game. I hate night games, but our players like them, so it's about them.
Why do you hate night games?
As a coach, because you got to wait around all day. You know, and you got to find stuff for them to do. I'd rather get up and play at 12 and get it over with. That's what coaches prefer. I'm pretty sure most coaches don't like night games, but the players love them.
All right, you guys heard from Coach Gibbs. So not a lot of great news as far as the last game. They were happy to get out of it. We got a story on the HBCUGameDay.com where he talked about, you know, not being, they don't really get a lot out of this game, even though, and not being a favor of it. But, you know, those are his words, so go check that out as well. But before we got to the press conference here, it's already been a really big news day in HBCU sports. So woke up to the news that the Bethune-Cookman Southern University game that had been moved to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay is now going to be coming back to Daytona Municipal Stadium, home of Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman put out a release today stating that they would no longer be having that game there. Our sources tell us that there was some issues behind the scenes, and concerns with using Raymond James Stadium. Interestingly of note, the promoter there is also involved with the FAMU Mississippi Valley game, which is right now still scheduled to go on in Mercedes-Benz Stadium on October 4th. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for that as that date gets close. We are now less than a month away from that, which is crazy. So in addition to that, as soon as that finished, had a chance to hop on the MEAC coaches call. So unless you've been under a rock, you know that this week the MEAC had two big wins, both of them by former NFL stars who are now first-year head coaches, and that is DeSean Jackson and Michael Vick. So let's hear from DeSean Jackson about his win over the University of Albany. It was a rain-soaked, hard-fought win. Here's what he had to say, some of what he had to say about it.
Like I told him yesterday in the team meeting, man, I tip my hat off to those guys because, in those circumstances and those conditions, man, you never know how you can, stay engaged, right? We had one postponed. It was 30 minutes, and then we had another. We had to go in for the locker room for at least 3 hours, right? So it just, like I said, it just speaks to their mindset and what we're being asked to do right now.
Well, Coach, like I said, one victory for the game and one for the weather delay, but now you got to strap it up again because you got a very tough opponent coming in Bowie State out of the CIAA. What are you expecting from this coming matchup?
Man, every week we play, man, we respect our opponents. My philosophy has never been about the opponent; it's been about ourselves. So going into it, we'll watch film. We'll see what they do well, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to the things we do well, right? So, they're a tough team, very physical. They do some great things as well too. They play together. They have a good culture. So, we're excited about the opportunity. We have another home game here in Dover. So, it was a great outcome last week. We had our fans come out, schools rallying behind us. So it's going to be a tough, hostile environment, and we just look forward to keep building that here at home.
All right, so good stuff from Coach Jackson there. They're going to take on Bowie State this week. Now, look, these CIAA teams have not been playing games with folks this year on the Division I level. Again, you had Hampton, who had to go all the way to the end to beat Elizabeth City State, who was picked up, finished, I believe, 9th in the CIAA. And then you had Virginia State pushing Norfolk State all the way to the limit. Virginia State can really look back at this game and say that they lost this game. They controlled it for most of it, but in the fourth quarter, Otto Coons, who had come off the bench after starting the game behind Israel Carter for the second week in a row, and he got the offense moving. So Coach Vick talked about how he felt about getting the win overall. Let's listen in on that.
It's great to have, a packed house. It's great playing with a crowd. Obviously we want them to be louder, and to be as loud as they can be. But, this is kind of new for everybody. We appreciate it. I know the players appreciate it. And, now they got a lot to play for. It's all about progressing it forward. That's the name of the game. We got to be more disciplined. We got to hop on the discipline more. We got to hop on the details more. And ultimately, they got to trust their technique. The interception return that was negated by a personal foul, that was hit or miss. The quarterback was scrambling in the pocket. He just happened to get hit when he was releasing the ball. And so, some of them you may question. Some of them, are just like bonehead penalties. Like, you could have avoided that. Or, it's hard to ask them that in the moment, but some things, is in our control and some is out of our control. And so I'm gonna put the onus on them. I'm challenging them to grow up and grow up fast because we're not gonna win too many games, with the same pattern over and over again. And so that's 2 weeks back to back. We was able to overcome them 2 weeks back to back. Last week, but even in the first game. But it's not gonna always be that way. Some good teams we playing and good opponents, and they're gonna take advantage of it. So we got to fix it real quick.
And of course, as we said, that win was key by the play of a couple of things. The special teams played a big role. There were block kicks, block punts. They did miss a field goal, but their kicker responded in the end. So a big congratulations to special teams, the special teams coordinator, Torrey Woodbury. Now, for Michael Vick, he is a guy who has played quarterback his entire career. He has been in some quarterback battles, and now he has one on his hands as a rookie head coach heading into his third game against an FBS opponent. And I just knew someone was going to ask him about the inevitable quarterback controversy with Otto Coons and Israel Carter. Nobody else asked him, so I had to step in. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, we haven't made a decision as of yet. We still got till tomorrow to decide, but we want to just go back and evaluate everything, watch the film, sit down with both of the quarterbacks and talk it through. And got to do what's best for the team and what makes the most sense right now. And just trying to get a feel for where they at with everything from a comfort level standpoint. And so, going into the third game of the season, this is where you start to try to create an identity for the team, and I think it's important right now for our guys to know what direction we're going in and what the structure we're trying to create. So we got to evaluate that. It's a good problem to have, and so I'm gonna make sure we collectively try to make the best decision possible.
All right, so Coach Vick telling us that as of Monday, he has not he's not decided on the starter. So that's big news in the HBCU world. We're definitely going to keep up with it. Go to HBCUGameDay.com. Check out our article by our guy Joshua Williams, who has stepped from behind the camera, and now he is writing articles. He's been at both of Norfolk State's games so far this season, and he has a unique perspective. He broke down the battle, so let us know what you guys think in the comments below. But I definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in for this impromptu edition of Verified Sources with SJG from the campus of North Carolina A&T State University. And look, I am known to give the Aggies all the smoke. I mean, after all, I am a Ram, right? 1892. So, I have to give them all the smoke. I was giving them the smoke before they left the MEAC. But in all seriousness, you have a lot of respect for North Carolina A&T. This is a beautiful campus. Again, the largest HBCU in America, I believe. They just announced a attendance or enrollment of over 15,000, which is amazing. So shout out to them. Really nice campus. They got all these robots feeding people and giving them their food. So really high tech. The T stands for technical in North Carolina A&T. And be remiss if we did not mention the North Carolina A&T 4, also known as the Greensboro 4, but nationally. But here at North Carolina A&T, they take a lot of pride in letting you know that it was the North Carolina A&T 4, because they were all 4 students who showed up on February 1st, 1960, were students at North Carolina A&T State University. So definitely got to shout out them. One of the A&T 4 just passed, Joseph McNeil. So we definitely want to honor his memory and for what he did for not only A&T students, not only people in Greensboro, but not even only for black people, but what he did for freedom and really helping to launch that student sit-in movement here in the South and otherwise. So I'll give a moment of silence for him. And so I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in to Verified Sources with SJG. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.